Had climate change anything to do with your decision to work with a borehole?
Not really, no. We do have a small burn, Scotch word for river. So we do have a small river running beside the distillery, but it doesn't have the volume of water that we'd be needing for production. You need a lot of water to make whisky. That's really the number one priority really in where you put a distillery. Do you have a sufficient quantity and makeup of water? And Burn wasn't going to give it to us, so we drilled a borehole to see is there an aquifer below us that we can draw a sufficient quantity of water from, and what's the water like? Is it got what's the mineral makeup of that as well? Because if there's too much iron and calcium, it can cause you issues in the process. If there's not enough, which isn't really going to be an issue, but yeast need micronutrients as well. They need some trace elements like zinc, things like that. But climate change, to get back to your question, didn't really have any sort of impact as to how we were going to draw our water from. Yeah.
Kingsbarns Distillery only uses barley from the Fife area. Has the drought affected your supply of barley?
It's not affected the supply. There's a little bit less of it this year, and in terms of quality, it's not the same quality that we were getting last season, last year. That would have been 2017's crop. As I say, weather conditions weren't great for growing, with the cold start and then not getting the rain when we needed it, and the hot, dry weather. What does that do to barley? A variety of different things, but it stunted its growth a little bit, so we weren't getting the same length of shoots of grass, and there was a higher proportion of protein in the actual grains and a lower proportion of starch. Now again, you need some protein for yeast growth and for proteins like where the enzymes come from, so you need that to be able to get the conversion, but too much of it and it's just taken away from yield, how much spirit you're going to be able to get out of each tonne. For instance, in last year's crop, 2017's crop, we were getting about 420 pure litres of alcohol a tonne, and for the barley that was growing last year, it's sitting more like 408, 410 litres per tonne. So you're paying more for it and you're getting less juice out it as well. You're getting hit at both ends.
Under European law, genetic modification of most plants is prohibited. With the upcoming Brexit, those rules would no longer apply. Would Kingsbarns Distillery be open to the usage of genetically altered barley, so it's more resilient to drought?
No, in a word. The Scotch whisky industry is it's quite paranoid about using GM because you have such long lead times between production and then getting a product at the end of the day. You don't want to be producing something one day and then 10 years down the line, maybe there's an issue with GM that you can't sell the stock that you have for whatever reason, legislation, or there was found to be a human health problem with it. I don't know enough about that, but if that were to happen, you would have 10 years worth of stock in your warehouse that you couldn't sell. So traditionally the Scotch whisky industry has been quite slow to adapt to things like that. So I don't see the Scotch Whisky Association that make the rules. I don't see them moving on that. But again, you never know.